to wrestling luchador Lince Darado to the WSC Lounge.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me on. I'm very excited to be on this show and, spread the word about Mucha Lucha and Lucha Libre, man.
You're very welcome, sir, and it's an honor to have you on today's show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Just came home from the gym. Got my little, pump on until later on tonight. So I'm going to go home right now, do a couple projects, do a couple prepping for my food and my meals, and then probably head back to the gym and get ready for this Mucha Lucha event.
All right. So you got a Mucha Lucha event coming up tonight? No,
just to prepare myself for next month's Mucha Lucha event. So I just changed my diet up a little bit, trying to get a little bit bigger. So I'm hitting the gym a little bit harder. Making the weights a little bit heavier. Just to stand out and be different than all the other guys that are going to be on that show. A lot of great talented guys, but the name of the game is standing out and awing people.
I have to agree with you on that. Speaking of that show, can you tell us about that great show coming up on March the 13th, Sunday, March the 13th at 4:30 p.m. At 6100 Live Oak Parkway, Norcross, Georgia 30093, and you're going to have some AAA as well as Lucha Underground stars there as well.
Yeah, there's going to be stars from all over the globe, all over Mexico, all over the U.S. That's going to be all in one place, which is Norcross, Georgia, at that time, March 13th. And it's just going to be studded. I mean, like, you got myself, you got Oraculo, Serpentico, you got Pentagon Jr., Drago, AAA stars, you name it, they're going to be there. Even local guys that are, top guys right now on the indies as A.R. Fox and Jimmy Rave. A lot of different styles of wrestling come into one place for one event, and that's Mucha Lucha.
Wow, it sounds very exciting, and I must say I've always loved the Lucha Libre style of wrestling. I've always loved that. You guys, I mean, like I was telling the fans before the show went live, so I was watching one of your videos, your 15 top moves, and I was blown away by some of those moves you did. I mean, there was a DDT that you did where you like jumped behind the guy and I mean, I can't even explain it. It was just so awesome. I mean, what kind of technique and skills goes into you being able to perform at that level?
No, definitely. That's a good question. I think to be able to perform at the level that I am right now, it takes a lot of years of training, a lot of good years of, good training, not just so much, learning the basics and seeing what works and what sticks. A lot of cardio, because we got to be able to go in that ring and we got to be able to take those falls, at such a high pace and a high risk that if your body's not ready for it, then, you're not going to last long. So I'm just very fortunate that, I'm with a group of guys that's very serious about health and very serious about motivating each other to be the best that we can be. And I think right now, 2015 was a really good year as far as wrestling for me. And I think 2016 has just started, but it's just going to just escalate. I have so many good things coming up. I wish I could tell everybody all the details, but, just to keep a secret, you never might know where you're going to see one of us or all of us.
Before I bring on my co-host, I want to ask you. You were trained by several people, but one of those people that I was looking down the list and I saw was Cesaro.
Yep.
How was that for you being trained by Cesaro now that he's gone on to WWE?
Yeah,
he was also in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, he was in Ring of Honor. He was a big star over in Japan. Actually, one of his trainers, Chris Hero, is also one of the guys who helped train me. He was also in NXT as Cassius Ohno. And, I mean, the training that these guys put us through, And mind you, they were the assistant trainers at the time, but they took over for most of the time. They pushed us, and they wouldn't have pushed us if they didn't believe that we were able to, perform at that level or do the things that we do in the ring at this time in our career. So, I mean, he is just a freak, man, as far as it comes to strength. His training regimens were just ridiculous. I remember a couple times trying to train with him as far as in the gym, and it was just like, I was happy just to walk away on my own 2 feet, let alone somebody try to carry me out. But, things that he's doing right now in the WWE as far as, the pop-up European, he tried it with the smaller guys, including myself first. So to see him do it on the big stage is kind of like a cool thing because I like to think, well, we were the first people he did it on, in practice. So, I mean, the guy is he is the Swiss Superman, no doubt, definitely.
That is incredible. Before I bring my co-host on, I do have a fan question. A fan wanted me to ask you, what do you prefer? What type of wrestling do you prefer better? Do you prefer the lucha style or the American style?
I definitely prefer the lucha style more. That's the style I grew up watching as far as being a little kid, and then later on transitioned to the Japanese style. As far as the American style, I didn't really get a big taste of it until I was a little bit older. I didn't really have a lot of cable TV. The only cable TV we had was the Hispanic channels, the Galavision, Univision, and later on when I first saw my first wrestling match as far as American wrestling was actually the Undertaker versus Yokozuna casket match, and that match like kind of just blew my mind away. That I was like, hey man, I can mix lucha libre with this great storytelling and athleticism, and perform at such a good level.
Now I believe that match you're referring to, that's the one where Chuck Norris showed up, isn't it?
Is that the Royal Rumble? I think that was. It was Royal Rumble or Survivor Series. I want to say Survivor Series.
Because I remember one of those matches. Chuck Norris showed up as the special enforcer or something.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of guys that helped Yokozuna beat the Undertaker.
Exactly, yeah. So, I don't know how old I was actually on my way to school, and my uncle brought the tape over, and he was like, hey, you got to watch this. So I watched it, and, my first introduction to American wrestling was The Undertaker. I mean, there's no one better than that right now. And then you put in the mix with Yokozuna, who is just a powerhouse and such an athletic big man. And then all of a sudden, you got all these guys coming out with different personalities and characters, and you're just like, what is this? So that was my introduction to wrestling, American wrestling. But, my passion and my love has always been lucha libre.
Okay, well, thank you for answering that fan question. And without any further ado, I want to bring on my co-host right now, Jason Boyd. Jason, welcome to the show.
Well, Brian, Lince, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing good, my brother. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, man. Can I ask you a question of which match we were just, my co-host was just talking to you about the Yokozuna Undertaker casket match? Now, was it the one where Yokozuna won at the end where they had smoke go up in the air and it was like a little silhouette of the Undertaker?
Yep, that was the exact same match I'm talking about.
That is the Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble, yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, the Survivor Series was the one where Chuck Norris came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when Undertaker got the big blow off and everything like that.
I knew it was one of those two matches, but like I said, like if your first introduction to wrestling is a casket match, nonetheless, Yokozuna and the Undertaker, I mean, how can you not be addicted to it?
I thought that was one of the greatest times of wrestling as a kid. I was 9 years old at the time. And I think you're 2 years younger than me, so we're about racing the same age, so it was really big.
So if you were 9, I was 7, and ever since then, American wrestling, that style of American wrestling, WWF at that time, For me, has been nonstop. Wrestling has taken over my life, performer and as a fan.
You started off big with Chikara in 2007. Am I correct?
Yep, that's correct. That's when I made my debut, but I was with them for in 2006 as well.
Oh, okay. Your debut was in 2007. You won the King of Trios tournament with El Pantera and Incognito. I know those names very well from watching Chikara. Now, who were some of the other teams in this tournament?
Sure. By the way, El Pantera is also one of my trainers. I actually visited him over in Canada. He doesn't live in Canada. He lives in Mexico, but me and him were on the same show. We still tag, actually. He's also a great guy. He showed me how to make a lot of wrestling costumes or gear. So I'm very gracious to him. And Incognito is actually Sin Cara now in the WWE. So I got to tag with two guys who were in the WWE or WWF. And it's just been a great experience in my career. But as far as who was in that match or that tournament, you guys had guys like Blackout. You had the reigning champs. That was Mike Quackenbush, Shane Storm, and Jigsaw. You had Mitch Ryder. You had Shane Hawk. I want to say Claudio was in there or Cesaro was in there. I'm not too sure exactly if he was on the team, but I know he was at the show. And notably, those were the guys. Those were the top last four guys or four teams. So I just remember just King of Trios just being an idea, and then all of a sudden every year it just gets bigger and bigger. And it's an exciting time for wrestling because you get to see a lot of people you normally don't see.
Right, and the different styles clashing together, and that organization makes it for really good wrestling and good storytelling, as we were talking about earlier. For everybody, go
I
ahead.
totally agree with you.
For everybody, all of our fans out there, you mentioned Incognito is now Sin Cara. Now that is Hunico, right?
Yeah, that's Hunico. And the storyline that they actually had on WWE as far as the time that the two Sin Caras were there was a legit storyline. Before Hunico got signed or Incognito got signed, there was almost a legal dispute in Mexico for the name Mystico, which was, Sin Cara's name before he got signed as well. Where Incognito was the original Mystico, but not as what you would see in CMLL right now. He just had the name, not the image. And when CMLL created the character, they kind of took the name from him. And then, that's where the whole storyline came from with who is the original Mystico. And, it sucks to say he lost, but in the end, he kind of won because now he's still with the WWE, making good money, doing exactly what he wanted to do.
Well, to me, I thought he
Wow.
was out of the two anyway if you watched him wrestle. Now, he was Sin Cara Negra, of course, right?
Yes.
Yes, and I heard that the Sicko Sin Cara that CMLL used that Triple H had brought to WWE was hurting a lot of guys. Now, is this true or?
Say that one more time.
The Mystico that Triple H brought from CMLL to WWE, I heard he was hurting a lot of guys, and that's why Incognito, a.k.a. Hunico, was put under the mat.
That's not necessarily true. I think it's a little bit of two things. One, when he came in, he didn't go to FCW at that time or NXT at that time, and they just put him right to the main roster. So he didn't have time to adapt to the WWE style, which is very different than Lucha Libre and even American wrestling, like what you see on the independents. So when you're asked to go in there and have a Lucha-style match with somebody who's not Lucha, doesn't really make for the best match. So a lot of guys were not necessarily getting hurt, but they were getting banged up, or they were just messing up key things in matches that, normally wouldn't mess up if it was two Lucha guys or two American guys. But on the other hand, he is also very, from what I heard, very hard to work with as far as making sure, he's got to look good and, the attitude in Mexico right now, well, not right now, I don't want to say that right now, but some of the attitudes that some of the bigger guys have in Mexico is, they always got to put themselves to be number one at the very top. And at the moment that they look weak or they don't look good is the moment that they start to become very difficult. So I think at one point in his WWE career, he wasn't very happy with the direction he was going with as far as the business-wise. So, he thought of a way to get out, and the only way to get out was for them to release him or fire him by him being just very hard to work with.
Now, seeing Kalisto win the United States title, does that give you any, hope that for the future for the WWE for you, as you are a very talented wrestler?
I appreciate that. Kalisto is also a very good friend of mine. A lot of the generation or a lot of the guys right now that are in WWE, I actually know personally from either being in the independents or actually just knowing them as friends. And Kalisto is actually one of them. There's a couple of matches online that you could check out on YouTube. He used to go by Samurai del Sol, where we either wrestled each other or we tagged together. And a lot of times there were tag matches, but there's quite a few where we wrestled one another. And, at that time when he got signed, it was just like a big wrestling boom. And WWE just needed new talent. They were hurting for something new and something fresh. And he was one of the hottest masked guys on the scene at that time. And for him to win it, the WWE U.S. title, I thought it was a big accomplishment, not only for him, and not only for the quote-unquote smaller guy, but for the Latino community as well, whether they're Puerto Rican or Mexican, Argentinian. That just showed that, the wrestling business is changing in a good way. They're being diverse, they're introducing new characters, and different just cultures coming into one place and showcasing what ultimately everybody is watching, which is wrestling.
I have a couple of questions for you. I wanted to ask you. You were talking about indies. I want to let the fans out there know, if you haven't seen it yet, on the WSC Lounge on the Facebook page, also on YouTube. I was in attendance at the Georgia Premier Wrestling event on February the 5th, last Friday, for AJ Styles' final indie match against Corey Hollis, and that video is available. We want to thank the fans. We've had 9,228 views so far, and we want to thank the fans for that. Thank the fans for all their support, and we hope that the fans will continue supporting us at the WSC Lounge. One of my questions that I wanted to ask you, Lince, was, is Pentagon Jr., is somebody under his mask another wrestler playing him, or is he a legit Mexican superstar from Mexico?
No, he's a legit superstar from Mexico. He adopted the name, I believe, 2 years ago. He used to wrestle as somebody else, but after a while, one of the legends, which was Pentagon at that time, if they see something in a younger star and they're missing something, what they usually do is they would give them their moniker and just call them the Junior. So he's not necessarily the son, but the character was given to him from Pentagon, just to bring him up to that next level. And boy, did he just skyrocket. I think right now he is probably the top Mexican star or draw, not only in Mexico, but I think in the States as well.
Wow. Speaking of Lucha Underground, do you ever see Mucha Lucha Atlanta and Lucha Underground doing a combined show?
I think it would be business-wise really good for Mucha Lucha. I think it's a great business decision that they're using Lucha Underground stars, because not only do they have publicity behind them, but now other people will start picking up on the product as well, not just because they're bringing in Lucha Underground stars. But as far as business sense, you got to be able to make money for both companies. And I don't think Lucha Underground it would be benefiting from Mucha Lucha as far as like doing a joint show, you know. As far as would it be a great idea? Oh yeah, absolutely. I think Mucha Lucha has a lot of good homegrown talent that can definitely mesh well with a lot of the Lucha Underground talent. And I think right now, with the quote unquote hybrid Lucha Libre that you're seeing on Lucha Underground, I think it's a great time for people to be exposed to, you know, the Lucha Libre culture.
I have to agree with you on that. I actually heard the other day that WWE representatives and TNA representatives actually tried to make a deal with Lucha Underground to do some kind of joint show, and Lucha Underground turned them down as well on doing a joint show. But another question I wanted to ask you was, okay, back in WCW, you had the cruiserweight division. Okay, then in WWE or WWF it was known at the time, you had the lightweight division. Then in TNA, you have the X division now. What do you think the next generation of a division will be called, and what do you think it'll be like?
Oof, I think that is a really tough question because every division that you just mentioned is similar as far as smaller guys being able to perform at a high velocity. And then now you're asking what is the next breed of light heavyweights or cruiserweights or smaller wrestlers that is going to take wrestling to the next level. So what they're going to be doing in the next 10, 20 years in wrestling, in a wrestling ring, let alone, is going to be mind-blowing. So what it would be called? It'd probably be called the WTF division because nobody's going to know what is going on as far as their minds are just going to be melted. Seeing guys do things. I mean, right now it's 2016. We got guys doing double backflips, double front flips. What are they going to be doing in 10 years to be unique and different? It's going to be insane.
That's true. That's true.
We had a Lucha Rules six-man tag match at one of the organizations I worked for, and the fans, even after I explained it, could not understand that you don't have to be tagged in these type of matches to be the legal man in the ring. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people dislike Lucha Libre because they don't understand it. But I think one, it goes to, first of all, if you're going to present a Lucha Libre match, tell the fans, not only in the advertisement, but right before the bell rings, and explain the rules so that way when it comes time for the actual action, people aren't completely lost. So I think the first thing is that for people to enjoy it is they have to know the rules. And the rules are, you know, like you said, doesn't have to be a tag. 2 feet touch the floor, that's a tag. 20 count on the outside. If a guy gets his mask taken off on purpose, that guy loses via DQ. But the Lucha Libre style is just so different. It incorporates athleticism with entertainment, which is the blend of the Japanese style and American style. Japanese style is very, hard-hitting, very wrestling-based, athleticism too. And then the American style, with WWE, is, the entertainment part. Still has wrestling with it, but it's more entertaining. And I think with the Lucha Libre style, is a little bit of both. So it's a little bit of everything for everybody. And not only that, but the characters as well kind of just draw you in. Everybody can relate to any kind of character in Lucha Libre. You just got to look for one.
I see that we've got about 4 minutes left. We're going to pause for a quick commercial, and we'll be right back with Jason continuing the question with you.
All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. This is Trevor Murdoch, 3-time WWE Tag Team Champion, and you're listening to the WSE Lounge.
Okay, we're back on the air, folks. Go ahead, Jason.
Growing up, let's say, who was your favorite lucha?
Oh man. Woo. Well, I got a lot of favorite lucha, but before WCW, I knew a lot of the cruiserweights from watching, not personally. And the one guy, and everybody is going to be like, wait, what? The one guy that everybody thinks was, who started it all, which was Rey Mysterio. Don't get me wrong. He is without a doubt the trendsetter for all the light heavyweights and cruiserweights. But the guy who actually drew me into Lucha Libre was La Parca, the original La Parca. And he just, man, his style, his size, his charisma just drew me in, and ever since then, ever meeting him was just like a great experience. And not only that, but actually weeks ago I was in Canada and actually got to wrestle against him. So I thought that was a really cool thing, being able to wrestle a guy that I grew up watching, you know.
That La Parca is definitely a good one. I mean, at that size, a guy that can move like that, man, he was an amazing athlete. I liked Psychosis, and believe it or not, Super Cologne.
Yeah. Psychosis is super underrated. People have to understand that without Psychosis, Rey Mysterio wouldn't be Rey Mysterio, because who else would be able to base for him and, you know, post for him and do things for him that, you know, nobody else at that time was doing. So, like I said, I always say it, without Psychosis, Rey Mysterio would not be where he was at today, because at that time there's nobody else that was, you know, Psychosis' size and his mannerisms and his character was just was on point as well. But there's a lot of guys that I love watching in Lucha Libre, old and new, and it's just like I love everything about Lucha Libre.
Whatever happened to the Villanos that used to work for WCW?
They actually still have a wrestling school. They actually are still wrestling. I don't know which numbers they're wrestling at. There's 3 of them that are wrestling now. But in their wrestling school, I think they're about to just debut one of their sons or nephews. And their wrestling school is probably the top school in Mexico right now. And I was a big fan of the Villanos too. The look, the mask, everything about them, I thought it was great. And I'm very happy that I'm actually very happy that you mentioned them, because not a lot of people know about them.
Yeah, I remember a lot of those guys. Silver King and Super Callow and Liz Martin Jr. and there was another guy too that I'm trying to remember what his name was. He had long curly hair. He wore trunks and long trunks in WCW, but I can't remember what his name was.
Juventud Guerrero.
No, it wasn't his.
Yeah, you had Hector Garza.
This guy didn't have a mask.
Hector Garza.
It might have been Hector Garza, because he had it might have been
not Hector Garza. I know who it was. El Dandy.
El Dandy, yeah. He's another guy that's super underrated, but a lot of people who do know him can appreciate his work.
Yeah, he wasn't used as well as WCW could have utilized, you know, back then. But they did utilize guys like Juventud Guerrero, Psychosis, Rey Mysterio. They used them correctly. You had your Eddie Guerrero. They brought in Vampiro. I wouldn't say is a lucha style, but he competed in a lot of lucha matches. So, you know, Vampiro into that.
Here's a true story. Well, two of them. Number one, Juventud has reinvented himself, and he is now more active in Mexico and in California. So he is currently on the wrestling rosters again. So please check him out, because he is awesome, even to this day. And Vampiro actually got his big break in Mexico. He trained in Lucha Libre for years, actually with my one of my trainers, El Pantera. They were great friends, and he spent years in Mexico. And before he made his WCW debut, I think he was down there for, you know, quite a few years before doing anything in the States. And he actually is a Canadian. He lives in Canada. So I thought it was, when you mentioned him, you can't take him out of that. He's also Lucha Libre as well.
Yeah, wasn't he in AAA for all those years?
Yep, AAA.
Speaking of luchadors, Chavo Guerrero Jr. is actually in a new movie. I forgot the name of it, but it is available on DVD at Walmart now. I've seen it today, and he's actually in a movie now, so everybody can go check that out. do you have anything that you want to promote before you go, Lince? You have any upcoming events?
No problem.
Okay.
Okay. I have a bunch of upcoming events, like I said, coming up. Off the top of my head, this weekend I'll be over in Newport Richey for ACW. That's WWN's sister promotion. I'll be visiting Canada again. I got some trips coming up in Mexico and all over the U.S. But if anybody has the time, follow me on Twitter. I'm at perfect10.com, or not .com, perfect10ld. You can find me on Instagram. Just search Lince Darado. Find me on Facebook. You can email me at perfect10ld@gmail.com. I always answer. I always write back. You can find me at prowrestlingtees.com/Lince Darado, where you could get all my Lucha Libre T-shirts, all the Lince T-shirts, all the Lucha World Order T-shirts that I have, which is the group of guys that I hang out with, call ourselves the Lucha World Order. And, you know, what we do is we share the love about Lucha Libre and promote it as hard as we can to get the word out there. But those are my social medias, and, you know, guys, feel free to hit me up anytime.
Okay, and before you go, can you do a audio clip for us? Just say, this is Lince Darado, and you're listening to the WSE Lounge.
Is it WSE Lounge?
Yes, sir.
WSE Lounge. Okay, got it. You ready?
Yes.
All right. If I mess this up, I apologize, but we'll do it again. Hey, guys,
okay.
This is Lince Darado. Oh, I'm sorry. See, I messed it up already. Here we go. You tell me when.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hey, guys, this is the Perfect 10, professional luchador Lince Darado, and you're listening to the WSE Lounge, baby. Lucha Libre all day.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, and I hope.
I'm here.
Oh, go ahead. Okay. Hope you have a great day, and it was an honor to interview you. And I believe Jason was saying something too.
Yeah,
what's up, Jason?
It's been a pleasure. Let's say.
Definitely, man. Always great talking to people who have the same passion as me, and that's the Lucha Libre bond. So, great pleasure. It was a pleasure talking to you guys. Thank you for having me on your show.
You're very welcome, sir.
All right,
Thank
you guys take care. Peace, love, and Lucha Libre.
Okay, you too. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mucha Lucha Atlanta Wrestling Luchador Lince Darado.